Hey guys, welcome back. This is Nandini. Today I had an amazing stream because of Vishy Anandi, Madras Tiger. He is currently playing the Superbit Rapid Championship 2022 in Poland. That is on the board, and he is in the sole lead. He's actually leading by a pretty good margin. Tomorrow is day 3 and the final day of the Rapid Championship, and hopefully we see him actually win the championship because he deserves it. So those who do not know, lately I have been streaming on the Chess Olympiad Chennai 2022 channel. I'll put the link to that channel in the video description so you can actually join me for all my future live streams. That would be lovely. Anyway, getting back to the game. This is a game against Levon Aronian, and this is from round 5. So basically he was 5 out of 5 in this tournament, and then he drew the 6th round against Duda. So he's had pretty amazing games. He is in super form, and let's just get to the game and see why he is a genius. E4, E5, bishop C4. We have the bishops opening for a change. Knight F6, D3, bishop C5. As you see, both the sides are just developing their pieces. Knight F3, D6, castling. White gets his king safe. Vishy also gets his king safe. So again, over here they're just following the opening principles and doing well. C3, which is controlling the central square, having future ideas of D4. So here Vishy immediately goes with bishop B6, a prophylactic move, because now D4 would not be attacking the bishop. And here Levy continues with a knight BD2, and Vishy goes for a very similar idea, C6, again immediately threatening D5 because that would be gaining a tempo because the bishop would be attacked immediately. So again Levy goes with bishop B3, and again a prophylactic move as we have already discussed. And here rook E8 developing the rook, rook E1 developing the rook, bishop E6 trying to trade the bishops. The bishop is doing a pretty good job here. Develop the bishop and get the bishops traded. Bishop C2. Now looking at the position is actually converted to a very Ruy Lopez kind of structure from white side, because that is what really happens. Usually there is bishop B5, bishop A4 and bishop C2, but black structure is not exactly Ruy Lopez-y in this position, but somewhere there. So anyway, the game continued. Knight BD7, and looking at this position, you wouldn't believe that this game ended in no time. It ended in less than 25 moves, and that's really hard to believe looking at the current position, but you'll see the excitement is just coming. So here Aronian played the move D4, immediately striking in the center, and now this is a very common move for black to play this move bishop G4. In Ruy Lopez, you see a lot of times that white goes with D4, and without H3 on the board, when D4 is played, black can always have the option of going bishop G4, immediately pinning the knight, because the knight is pinned, black has an immediate threat of capturing E into D4, C into D4 and bishop into D4. The knight wouldn't capture and cannot capture because the queen would be hanging there. So yes, so this is a simple threat of winning a pawn. And usually in these positions, a move like H3 is played, or sometimes knight C4 or knight F1, which is very common as white can do in the Ruy Lopez. But anyway, the game continued with H3, attacking the bishop. If you capture, white is very happy about it. So here bishop H5, Vishy just keeping the pin on the board. And over here, Aronian went for G4. And this is immediately telling the bishop that you gotta go back. Yes, he's probably weakening the king a bit, but it's alright, because now after the bishop gets to G6, this bishop is actually dead. It does not have any squares to go to. It's targeting the E4 pawn, but the E4 pawn is well supported. Now this is where the fun begins. So bishop G6 was played, and here Aronian went for D into E5. Now the point of D into E5 in these kind of positions is the rook is on E8. So if the pawn actually completely blocks the position, then rook E8 would not be very useful. And secondly, in these kind of positions, as we've already discussed, this bishop is not doing much. So black could have ideas of D5 in the future, and if you want to stop that, then D into E5 is a good way to do it, because if the pawn captures, well, the d5 option will no longer be there, and this bishop on g6 would not be doing much. And in the future, let's just consider we have knight f1, knight on g3, knight f5, and that square on f5 would be under white's control. Anyway, that's a bit too much in the future. Let's see how the game went. So the game went with knight into e5. Now again, d into e5 could be played, and if this happened, then maybe there would be knight c4 on the board, and maybe the knight would go to e3 or d6, and maybe then hop onto this f5 square, which we were discussing about earlier. This was a possibility, but anyway, what happened in the game was knight into e5, and after that knight into e5, and here rook into e5. So again, Vishy wants to keep the possibility of playing d5 and also keeping pressure on the e4 pawn, also considering that the white king is open. There could be future ideas of going h5 and trying to weaken the white king even further. And very important to note down is this bishop on b6 is super strong because it is pinning this f2 pawn, which cannot move at the moment. And if white got f4, f5, then maybe the black bishop would have been trapped, but that's not really possible at the moment. And here in this position, Aronian did not probably play the best move, but it's not a losing move at all. It's the second best move in the position, and that is knight c4, which is very, very natural. It's a double attack on the rook and the bishop. Now, the best move in the position was king g2. And it's not that Aronian or Anand did not consider it, especially Aronian, because he was playing the white pieces. He did. In fact, both the players calculated the same line, and you wouldn't believe, but both the players missed the very same move at the end of the line. Let me show you what I mean. So after king g2, they calculated the move d5, which again makes sense. We spoke about it earlier. So white's idea with king g2 was to remove the pin on the board, and now f4 with the idea of immediate f5 to win the right square bishop. So after f4, there is this move knight into e4, which both of them calculated. And after knight into e4, this is actually a sacrifice of the rook. So after f into e5, there is this move knight f2 attacking the white queen. And here after queen f3, black has bishop into c2. That was the idea of knight f2 to deflect the queen. And after bishop into c2, it seems like black has enough compensation for the exchange. It seems that way. Also, it's a double bishop advantage, which we should not forget, and the white king is open. But there's one move in this position, and the only move in the position which keeps white the advantage. Any other move just means that black is better. So this is the one move that Aronian actually missed in this position, and that is rook f1. Now the immediate threat is capturing rook into f2, and after bishop into f2, queen into f2, white would end up a piece up in this position, basically material up, because he's already in exchange up at the moment. So rook f1 was missed in this position, and the point is, if the knight moves, let's just move the knight, there is queen into f7, and after king h8, let's say black does not have enough compensation, because now even black's king is pretty weak. With the f pawn falling and then a passed e pawn, this does not look great for black. Going back, this was what they missed, and in the game Aronian chose to play this move knight c4, and here Vishy went with knight into e4. Again, take my rook, I don't care. So anyway, the rook was not taken, and let us discuss why. So over here, Aronian did not capture the rook, and if he did capture the rook, by the way, there was this move knight into f2, again attacking the queen. So the queen is kind of forced to move, and let's say the queen goes to e2, keeping the bishop protected, because, well, we are attacking the bishop. And over here, we can just capture bishop into c2, play very simple chess, and after queen into c2, we can just capture the knight. And as you see, yes, white is in exchange up, but black has more than enough compensation for the piece. There's knight into h3 coming, and after that the g4 pawn will eventually fall. There are always queen h4, queen g3 ideas, and here black is just having a really good advantage over here, and it should be a winning advantage at super grandmaster level. Anyway, going back, so here Aronian made a blunder, we can say. So the move he chose to play is knight into b6. He may have missed something in the whole variation, which we don't know about. So here came another another hit by Vishy, and that is knight into f2. Now let's just discuss what happens for the simple queen b6. What if this was played? The point is, if queen b6 is played, then Aronian simply gets, I think bishop e3 looks pretty decent for white because f2 is protected and you gain develop a bishop with a tempo. You gain a tempo, and this should be fine for white. Considering that there is a 2 bishops advantage, and yes, white is down a pawn, but I think there's probably enough compensation. Anyway, going back, so this was not really played in the game, and after knight into b6, Vishy just went with another hit, and that was knight into f2. The point is, after knight into f2, if king into f2, which obviously was not played in the game, but if there was king into f2, then there was simply queen h4 check, and after king f1, there's queen into h3 check. I'm just going to eat everything I can, and after queen h2, king f1, you see now the queen is also attacking the bishop, while we have had the first attacker earlier since many moves now, so we can just capture bishop into c2, and this game is just lost for white. All right, so this did not happen in the game, and in the game Aronian chose to just move the queen, which totally makes sense, and played the move queen d2. And after queen d2, Vishy simply played the move queen into b6, picked up the knight. Very simple. The point is, now this knight on f2 is still untouchable, and the bishop or the queen are exactly doing the same job. The king is always under constant pressure because of a discovered check. So after this, queen into f2 is actually not possible here, because if there's queen into f2, this queen is pinned, as you can see. So the rook is not really defended, and the rook can simply capture. So rook into e1, and black wins material. Going back, what was played in the game. So here, Aronian chose to just capture rook into e5, and Vishy played very simple chess over here, just captured knight into g4, and after king g2, went back and captured knight into rook. Now seeing this position, you see that Vishy is already 3 pawns ahead, 3 pawns up at the moment. And after bishop g6, at g6, he lost 1 pawn after queen d6, but again 2 pawns is a really good advantage, including that the white king is pretty weak, is open, while the black king is very, very safe over here. So here Vishy played a very nice move once again. I'm sure there can be many other moves that also give black an advantage. For example, move like rook e8, trying to get the rook immediately into the game also looks good, and I think it's very natural. But Vishy played a move which is also really, really good, and that is queen b5. Not only does it defend the knight that was attacked, but it also has a threat of going in with queen e2 check, and the white king will be doomed very, very soon. So here Aronian went with queen d1, just going back and defending. And the point is, if the bishop gets to develop, then maybe white can try to, at least continue and keep the game go for long. But the point is, Vishy just went with knight d3, again attacking b2, attacking c1, and having threats of queen d5, and there's rook e8 coming. There's a lot going on over here. The white king is just too open, and the h3 g4 moves are actually costing him now in this part of the game. So anyway, here b3 was played, probably with an idea of developing the bishop now, because the pawn will no longer be attacked. It's supported after b3. And here queen d5 was played, and here on this move Aronian resigned. The reason is simple. It's because the queen is very active, the queen is in the game, the knight is in the game, and now eventually on the next moves there is rook e8, there's rook e1. I mean, wherever the king goes is going to be trouble, and the king will actually be getting checkmated very, very soon. So this is a very short and sweet game, just 24 moves, but brilliant play. Who would have expected we would have fire on board, when the game started so slow? But well, this was an amazing game. I hope you guys learned something from it. If you guys wish, you can definitely join me on my live streams on the Chess Olympiad channel. I stream there very, very often, actually every single day. So I'll see you then. Bye.